Hello and Happy New Year, everyone. It is 2020, not just a new year, it is a new decade that we all have in front of us. And how wonderful to enter into the 20s, new energy, and it's really starting out with a huge energetic transformation for all of us, and that is Saturn Pluto. Now, we're going to be talking more about that. I just want to say that yes, I want to thank all of you who's been in touch with me since I haven't been making the astrological videos for a long time, right? Asking where I'm at, will I come back? I will compromise right now, and I'm going to do a mutual astrological reading for all of us. I'm not going to do all the 12 different signs. Just to be honest, that took too much out of my time. I was too busy to follow up on all that, and I guess, I can speak on behalf of all the astrologers out there doing the 12 videos a month. It is extremely time consuming, and when you're busy on a day-to-day level doing readings as I am, I work mornings and evenings taking live calls from you, but also making recordings for your transits charts. So this is what I'm going to do, and I will already be posting up February here so you can watch both of these. And we're going to talk through what is coming up now, January, which is going to affect all of us. The day-to-day planets in the sky, they will affect all of us equally, depending on where, of course, it's going to be triggering in our personal charts, right? And we have a lot of change coming up here early in the year. And let's start out now here with January. So, New Year's, absolutely, this was the entering into the new decade. We had a conjunction, a slight conjunction that is, with Jupiter and the Sun. So that kind of just sends us off on a happy beat, right? This happens once every 12 years when Jupiter is in this sign, so we don't get to see that too often. So those first few days, that first week of January, when Jupiter is hitting upon the Sun, it really sends us off with a feeling of having wind under our wings, all right? We're optimistic, and I think more than ever. Of course, we all put out our intentions for every new year. We're always excited, thinking the new year is going to bring us a lot of good things, but this year, collectively, because of Jupiter, we're all feeling different. We're all feeling the change coming in, and that this can really make a difference. Now, if you're looking at the chart that I've placed up here that you could see, Jupiter is there in the third house with the Sun at 10 degrees, right? And this chart is showing blue lines. We don't have any stress aspects or anything, so January starts off beautifully, like I said, with the wind of change. Now, you could see how these two planets are also aspecting up to Uranus up in the 7th house, which again stands for change in and of itself. Uranus is like the wild card, isn't it? We never know what we get. It's what I call the wow factor. And since Uranus now has moved into that sign of Taurus in 2019, well, yes, we can see all the Earth signs are getting benefits from this, especially the Taurus that don't really like change. They like stability and whatnot. They're the ones who's going to be mostly challenged, all right, with this huge energetic shift. Uranus wants us to open up, free ourselves, think outside of the box, do what things we never would have done in the past. That's hard sometimes for Taurus, but of course Virgo and you guys in Capricorn, you'll feel it too because it's trining your signs. You're really going to benefit from it and welcome it. The Virgos that are very organized, they're always on top of everything, right? They're going to feel that things are opening up, especially with technology. That goes for all of you because Uranus rules technology, it rules the internet, it rules anything that can speed us up technologically. And we're going to see a lot of that over this coming decade now with Uranus in these signs. And for you Capricorn too, that really is all about structure. You're going to see how your base foundation is going to be changing over the next couple of years due to Uranus. But right now, yes, there is a beautiful trine still hanging on here with Mercury. So the last few days of December, it was exact. So you might have had something coming up there right before New Year. Currently, here at January 1st, Mercury is 4 degrees. So it's already passed, but the influence is still there. That Mercury in the third house with Jupiter and the Sun, that's all about communication. So you can find that communication right now is truly important. That goes for all of us. And we will see when Mercury and Jupiter conjuncts, then it will conjunct with the Sun. Yes, we're speaking what? We're speaking our truth. Jupiter is all about truth. It's very blunt. It's very direct, right? And so we will find ourselves here in the first few days of January where we're speaking that truth. It might shock some of us. It might shock some of the people you're talking to, but you're speaking from the liver or from the gut, right? And it is your highest truth. And we're starting off 2020 with how important truth is. Now, we've gone through a year, or should we say a couple of years, with all this quote unquote fake news, right? And I think we're all tired of the fake news. We can't trust the media, can't trust headlines anymore, because everything has been kind of shunted in other directions than where it needs to be, right? And so I think we're all kind of having that common mantra that we're saying we want truth, we want disclosure, we want to be on the same page, no matter how good or bad that may be, but let's have the truth. And I bet this has been passing across all of your lips in your New Year's parties with your friends and your family, that this pretty much became a part of your topics, right? That we don't want that in this new year, this new decade. Something's got to change. Something has to be reformed. Uranus is all about reform. So, yeah, I like it. I really love that we can, with this collective consciousness, stand together and say, this is what we proclaim. This is what we want. And all of those 3 planets are in the third house for communication. So this is important. This is going to follow us, regardless of what sign you are, right? So don't look at this chart and look at yours. You can look at the planets, not necessarily the houses, though the houses are showing where the planets were at that exact time, at midnight 2020, right? But it's the energy. So it depends on where in your personal chart these planets will show up, because that's where it's going to hit home for you personally. But collectively, yes, we're all saying we want the truth. You know, it's time to disclose the truth. Now, then we also had on New Year's Eve, the moon conjuncting Neptune. What does that mean? Well, the moon is how we reflect. It's how we feel, right? Neptune is all about the illusion of, but it's also the ideal of. What is our ideal? What do we want? What do we feel? Again, we're really close to our emotions. I think we were all extremely sensitive New Year's Eve, feeling that, yes, this change that's coming in is something that we want to be beautiful. Think about Neptune. Neptune is beauty. It's the higher octave of Venus. It is also what we bring out there as far as love and beauty and arts and music. All those things that tend to heighten and deepen our emotional spirits. Think about it being in the sign of Pisces, being very psychic, very clairvoyant, clairaudient, right? So the moon is asking us on New Year's Eve to send forth that beam for this year, to listen within, not just all on the news and the social media. I think we all got so caught up on that in the last decade that we have to always be on the news and we have to follow up what's going on out there, what other people are saying. No, this new year, the universe was asking you to listen to your intuition, not just on New Year's Eve, but to embed this into your consciousness, how important it is to be quiet, have silent time, get away from all the noise, listen to spirit, what spirit is trying to commune to you. Why? Because that ultimately is what's going to keep you safe. If we're not attuned to that psychic part of ourselves, which we all are, if we just pay attention to it, that can keep us safe in days, months, years to come. It's all about embedding it, recognizing it, and then taking action on it, committing to it. We have this beautiful trine over there to what? To Mars in Scorpio, nonetheless. It's the ancient old ruler of Scorpio. Of course, these days it's Pluto, but Mars is still a ruler of Scorpio. That is depth. It's intensity. It's passion. It's those things that lay deep down within to the core of. And Mars takes action. And right now, by committing to be true to yourself, true to others around you, true to spirit, to listen to our higher guidance, that inner voice that we have. We all have it, but I think a lot of us tuned it out. That's why the world is at mess. It's such a mess, has become to. If we are collectively going to do anything, one good thing for the world is taking control, first and foremost, of ourselves, and then add that to the crowd, which adds to the multiple crowds of people in the world. If we can have that silent prayer, even though now that moon has passed Neptune, it's already past the trine to Mars, but it was embedded. We can bring this aspect up at any time just by simply thinking about it. When we think about it, we activate the frequency, we ping that energy, and it becomes restored. And this is what we want to bring with us as far as intention throughout the whole year, not just our initial intention, but that we reactivate it every time it comes to mind, that I'm going to speak my truth, I'm going to share who I am, I'm going to be open about positive changes, because there's been so much negative. We don't really need more of that. We don't need sensationalized headline news, which is nothing more than clickbait. You know, it's like, that's what sells out there. Aren't we all just very tired of it? So, by having that installed, all of us, no matter where we live, we were all under this influence, so it's within us. And when we speak about that, speaking our truth, taking action on truth, doing the right things, think about that Jupiter that is now conjuncted us with the Sun. That's the collective, all of us, right? Now, Jupiter is all about truth and what is right and wrong, legalities and whatnot, but international affairs, people everywhere, foreign countries, foreign people, foreign politics. Let's stand together. So this is pretty much, I love this chart because it's so pure. It's so pure. There's nothing here that is really riveting our feathers for now, but that's coming now. So don't be fooled. That's coming. But it's starting off here with this pureness that if we can bathe in that, take a shower of those energies, hold it close to heart, because there is going to be challenges, and it's already even starting as we get now into the month. And the major thing that I'm going to be talking about right now is Saturn and Pluto. Now, they only meet up in a conjunction once every about 29 years. 29 years ago, we had it, but it was in a totally different place of our chart. So, for us to have it here in Capricorn, Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn, well, what is that? Well, Capricorn, Saturn, it's old school. It's what used to work in the past. It's our governments. It's our teachers. It's the rulers. It's the royals. Like everything that had the old structure. It's our old scientists. Everything that has been what we have held our faith to is now crumbling. So be ready. Be prepared. I wanted to do this video months and months ago, and it's like, well, not really time. I want to catch you as it's happening so that you can see it. Not only are we going to see structures of political reason, but other reasons. We can see it in our towns, we can see it in our country, we can see it in other countries. We can see what's going on over there in the royal house of Great Britain, right, with Andrew. All right, so that's coming down. And how is it coming down? These things are super, super potent. And why is that? It's because of Pluto. What will Pluto do? It will strip down to the bare core, old structures which no longer work, so things can come crashing. And we have to expect there's going to be certain crashes coming up. Now, there already has been, because this has been in effect ever since early autumn, when Saturn was approaching Pluto. Right now, we're only a week or two away from this to really hit home on the debris. So we've been seeing the whole Epstein situation come crashing down. Pluto will reveal everything of secrets. Pluto rules secrets. So anything of secrets can now be disclosed. We can see how that can be very difficult in other situations, political situations, family situations, personal situations. It goes for all of us, this disclosure taking place. Now, when it strips away, way down into the core, what is going to take place? Well, then we have the transformative aspect of starting a new 29-year cycle. 28 and a half, 29 years, that's what it takes for Pluto to go around the chart once. It will meet up again, but throughout that journey, it's going to be collecting all of the karmic spots. Saturn is karmic. It will collect all of the karmic situations throughout the next cycle until the next full disclosure, what's going to go on, and so forth. But what will it mean in your chart, your personal chart? What is coming down? What is being disclosed? Have you felt stressed lately that there's been a lot of extra burdens? Things can have slowed down to a zero. If you've been a very active, dynamic person, maybe you've seen that you've been scaling back to your core where things really have started to go slow. And why is that? I get that question a lot from my clients. It's like, God, I'm coming to a standhold, right? And it's like, well, it's just because we're doing spring cleaning spiritually. We're finalizing our journey and preparing for a new journey, which is going to pick up. And let me tell you, though, it's going to be really exciting because once we're done, down to the bare bone, Saturn passes Pluto in your chart. What you'll see is that you're going to start on a new journey, and you can make it any way that you want to be very, very successful. This is the joy of it. Pluto opens up new doors, new opportunities, new strength, new joy, new dynamics, everything spiritually, mentally, physically. It's like if you felt that your goals and your targets, your projects that used to be on the horizon fizzled up and disappeared from you, and you felt you lost your direction. I know a lot of you did feel that, didn't you? Well, just watch how these new potentials and goals and opportunities are going to start resurrecting on that horizon, and you will have your new direction, and you will be filled once again with renewed energy. A lot of you have felt tired. Tired maybe with a reason or even without a reason, but just felt tired and drained here of these last couple of months. That's just natural. It's the old energy that you've been feeling, that we're now wrapping up, that we can throw out the window and wave goodbye to, as we're going to power up. And that power up is going to be glorious. Now, go to your personal chart. See where Pluto is, which house is it in, because that is where your transformation is going to take place. This is where everything's going to resurrect. This is where you're going to have your glory. This is where you're going to find the journey of mastering your new skills and talents, your new goals, all right, and your new mission. So it truly, truly an exciting time, and I think we're all going to be really happy for this conjunction to finally take place and be done with. Thank God it's not going to retrograde and hit again, so we're kind of lucking out on that. But the beauty of it is, from going from ground zero, it feels like we're all, starting over, starting new. But from that point, we're going to have the beauty of both Jupiter and Mars passing over that very same spot. So what Saturn is now stripping away, sending you off on that new 30-year cycle, 29-year cycle, we're going to get that buzz from Jupiter shortly thereafter. This is going to be, coming up here late winter, coming into spring. We're going to see some powerful aspects there taking place in March. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about what that will do for you. Mars will come in too to empower it and speed it up. So absolutely, if you're not subscribed, do that now, or definitely hit that notification button so you get it when it comes out. Because why? What will happen when Jupiter comes to expand Pluto? Saturn has stripped it of the old, but what is Jupiter going to do? What is Mars going to do when it hits Pluto? We are just all buzzing, soaring ahead, and we will see maybe just a glorious start of this new decade. So, for you right now, I think it's all about internalizing that beautiful emotional vision that you had New Year's. We had Cancer rising, not rising, but in your midheaven. We had Libra rising. So that's all about balance, harmony, and it's all about family up there with Cancer in the midheaven, about protecting. We want to feel protected. We want to be protective, right? And we want love and beauty and harmony. We want our ground roots to be really good. That's Capricorn there in the base. And putting down these roots, putting down these valleys. I don't care which sign you are, so don't be lost because you're not hearing your own sign this month from me. You'll hear that from the other astrologers doing your monthly. But collectively, we all have been putting down, right now, new roots to our collective base foundation. All right, that's what we're all doing. And I want to address all of you collectively. Why? Because when we think of one people, one soul, one spirit, one universe, it's what we do together is where we become the most powerful. Not being separated, but being one. Because from higher dimensions, we are all one. There is no separation, right? That's only the illusion of separation. If we can bypass that and come into that collective consciousness through prayer, through meditation, through mutual goals, through mutual visions, if we can come together and focus on that, imagine the power of change, the power of transformation, the power of love to heal, to bring together, to unite, not separate. This is what we together, all of us, can do. So this is how I'm going to be addressing astrology here now from 2020 on my monthlies. Like I said, I'm going to post February right now after this one, so you can go directly there and listen to that too. And then probably by the 10th of each month, I'll put up on YouTube the following month so we can tune in. But I would like you down the road to come back and re-listen to the beginning of the year. Okay, because why? This is the setup. This is the blueprint of the setup for all of us. Okay, we might have to remind ourselves down the road. It's like, okay, we start off strong with our intentions, and then we might kind of hang a little left, a little right, and go off the trail and whatnot, lose a little bit direction. Whenever you would maybe come to feel that, go back to this reading, Astrology of 2020 by me. Because this is your go-to. This is your reset button. This is what's set up for the whole year in our consciousness as the intention of what the universe wants 2020 to transform into. All right? So pay attention. Saturn, Pluto, it will hit on the 7th on the degree, 22 degrees in Capricorn. It will be exact on January 12th. That's the conclusion. That's the exact point of these two merging planets to open the door, right, and be done with. And whatever is coming there from the superpowers, then Pluto is always the superpowers, right? And Saturn, the governments, not just out there in the world physically, but our inner superpower, our own inner government. We govern ourselves, right? And this is where we individually as well as collectively need to take control and take power, embed that, because we are more powerful than we can even ever come to imagine. You are super powerful and you matter. Every single one of you matter in bringing in the glory of this new period. And then with all of this, where Uranus is coming into, hopefully we can start seeing a little bit more of happy news, good news, positive news, collective good news, what we can do together individually as well as a group to do good for one another. You know, countries between countries, we're looking at how to clear our atmosphere, the rivers that are flowing with trash, the oceans, the fish are dying. What can we do together collectively? And Uranus is collective consciousness, so is Pluto, right? Neptune too. All of that is us connected. It's beyond our personal planets, which goes from Mercury out to Saturn. That's our personal. But those three outer planets are more important than you can ever come to realize. And for those of you interested, of course, in astrology, or you wouldn't be listening here, you know, do your homework, do some more research, understand what these transpersonal planets are all about, because this is where we unite. You know, this is where all the thought forms that we hold in our mind create the reality that we see out in the outer world. You know, when you think about that, that's huge. If we've collectively been seeing in our minds, you know, all these negative headline news, this and that, it's negative, and then what does it do collectively? We start fearing. We collapse to fear. Ooh, I can't trust anybody. Ooh, you know, people are out there with guns. Ooh, I need to, you know, arm up. Or, you know, it's this fear that's been separating us, right? We need to rejoin. We need to come together, because together we're one body and we're super powerful and strong. And so we can start this year with that. I can't stress that enough. And probably repeated myself a few times already, but it's just because the message is so strong. It's important. Now, Venus here, as we start off the month, yes, it's in the sign of Aquarius, in the sign, no, or in the house of Leo, 5th house. So that's all about fun and leisure. So let's not forget, as we are working really hard, to have fun, to allow ourselves to, when we work hard, also to play hard, right? It's important with that balance. Now, there's not really any direct aspects to Venus. Venus is love, it's romance. It's starting the year off in the sign of Aquarius, and what does that mean? Well, detachment. What then does that mean? Should we detach from love? Absolutely not. What it does mean is to love without constrictions or conditions. It's when we're attached from love, we tend to then love unconditionally. And that's the message. Love unconditionally. Don't put conditions. Conditions are restrictions. Restrictions create problems and karma and whatnot. If we want to be without karma and karmic baggage, walk carefully upon this earth. Love always. Give always. Even if you're on the sidewalk, you know, with lots of people, you don't know them from Adam, try to connect with people's eyes, which is their souls. Give them a little flash smile. Doesn't take more than that. Just a little human recognition. I see you. You know, nod your head, give a little smile. That kind of love will spread everywhere like a wildfire, that we acknowledge one another. But there's no ties. Ties are karmic, right? So unconditional love, the message of Venus and Aquarius, that effect. Venus moves very quickly, so it's not going to be here long, but it's going to color 2020, the whole year. So try to, if you can, to practice what I call disattached attachment, meaning be attached, but be disattached from outcome, wanting, needing, craving, demanding, controlling the outcome. Be free. The Uranian energy is very, very free spirit, the Aquarian energy. We all have Aquarius somewhere in our chart. Look at where it is in your chart, and you will see exactly where you can come to free up that energy where you might have been holding a little tighter in the past. But disattached attachment means love equally to all. That's the message of Aquarius. And we're starting off this year to look at everybody equal, to love everybody equal, not because of what we get from him or her, but it's what we can give to him or her. What we give out. We love it unconditionally, right? And we're detached from the outcome. We're detached from having to have something back. Now, when we can do that, we'll all become big brothers and sisters to everybody in the world. And we need that fellowship. We need that companionship. We need that union. That is idealism at the highest. And you could say, well, maybe I am talking about a Pollyanna world. But isn't or wouldn't a Pollyanna world be better than what we have been seeing, transpiring? There's been so much out there that I think a lot of us are feeling drained and weary about and just wanting to let that go. So let's replace it with brotherly, sisterly love, even to the people we don't know that we just pass on the sidewalk, right? Or sitting at a stoplight, and you look over to the car next to you, flash a little smile, nod your head, send them off on a good vibe. That will send them to nod their head and smile to somebody else. You just lifted that person's spirit, right? So, when we are free spiritually in this way, we will start seeing how synchronicity returns back to our lives. If you've been feeling the lack of synchronicity in your life, well, start paying attention. You might get little signs and signals. It's like the 11:11, 12:12, 3:33, 4:44. When you start seeing these little things, it's just signs that you're realigning with yourself. And I will probably make a little video or a little talk here about what that really means. When you start seeing repetitive numbers in your life, going from the, should I say, the 11:11, 12:12, which is more universal for all of us, when you have seen that for a long time, period, recognize that for a long time, you'll start noticing a personal number that will show up. That personal number will start flashing at you from every time you look at your watch, the clock, to things that you see online. It could be somewhere in some text you're reading. Suddenly there is that personal number flashing right up. And it does something. Spiritually, it does. It realigns us with Source. And it's all about Source. We have to get beyond thinking that we're just humans, 3D conditional way of thinking. We're so much more than that. It's all about connecting now the fifth dimensional reality into your reality. And a lot of you will say, what's the fifth reality, right? We're just used to the five senses in the 3D world, that this is all we are. This is all, just physical, the five senses. And it's like, no, you will come to see now, especially because of Uranus and Taurus too, which is, lifting the earth. I won't say earthbound, but it is earthbound. The earth energy, the physical senses, it will start lifting up to higher realms of understanding, communication, experiences, and so forth. Telepathic things coming in much more clearly. So this is more where I want to spend my time on YouTube, is talking about spirituality, metaphysics, how you can embed them, recognize them, develop them, and so forth. There's multiple levels of that I would rather be speaking with you about. A video here and a video there of different topics. And if you have any special topics that you would like me to talk about, oh, please, be my guest. Just put that down in the description. Ask me and I can make a little video of it. And then we will revert to the monthly astrological influences, what's going to be affecting us the most. So here you have January, right? We shall look at February here in just a minute, so make sure that you go from this video to the next one. So thank you for listening, and if you have listened this far, I am giving away a free astrological transit reading. So if you want to be a part of that drawing, just go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, and I will be picking out somebody there. All right, I will see you in a minute with February's forecast, and talk to you in just a little bit.